doing anything.
Thanks everybody for coming. You may or may not have a few more attendees, but regardless, very thankful to Chris and Evie for coming out, so I don't want to wait any longer. This is going to be the first in the series during the off-season while the farmers markets are closing down. We're just trying to let folks know which farms have local pickup. You can just go out and get your meat, or which have greenhouses that still produce fresh local produce, obviously close to home. How you can get in on a community-supported agriculture program, possibly have food delivered to your front door. So in the vein of trying to reduce that carbon footprint, that's what this effort is all about. And a lot of farms, I think we're very, very fortunate. We're in the middle, smack dab in the middle of an agricultural mecca, really. I mean, so many farms exist around here that are just minutes away. And Evie and Chris of Roxley Farms are really just in Kernersville. They're trying to create awareness about their farm. They're trying to give up the farmer's market gig, and that's actually a lot of work. And also gas mileage, and sort of, in some ways, it defeats the purpose of what they're trying to do. So with that, I'll give you Evie and Chris.
Thank you, Vanessa. We do have some handouts. Trying to be sustainable in our practices, we didn't print a whole lot of paper to hand out, but we do have some. The more important slides that you will see, you will also have in your hands. I want to thank you, Vanessa, for making this possible, for putting this together, and you, Jeff, for the tapes. Let me just start by introducing who we are. Does it show up? Yep. We are, so to speak, two retired professionals from the Washington, D.C. area. Evie has her degree in psychology. I've done my studies in economics. And we've been around the world, literally. Frankly, we've settled here in Jefferson County. Oops. We've always wanted to get back to the land. We have 75 acres, and if you know where the county fairgrounds are, the Jefferson County Fairgrounds, we're immediately adjacent to the fairgrounds. We're contiguous. We share a boundary on the east side. So it's Wilshire Road and Old Leetown Pike, and we're in that corner. I like to say to people, or they say to me, yeah, when we go to the dump, we think of you. Yeah, well, it's on the way to the transfer station. That's true. That's where we are, and a lot of that stuff goes flying around, and I have to pick it off the fields. When did we start? We moved onto the farm in the 4th of July of 2001. And we didn't really know what we were going to do in terms of with the farm. We knew we wanted to farm, and we were going to do goats and goat cheese until we went up to Pennsylvania. Goat cheese operation had invited us to come see how they do it. And I decided, working in the real world for one individual in a company was hard enough, but to work for 21 goats was just not acceptable. It was such
Twice a day, every day, same time, is not us.
Right. And why are we doing this? Because we both love being out of doors. We have a mission. We wanted to restore, not only conserve, but restore the soil on this little corner of West Virginia. And restoring goes beyond simply conserving, which means not doing more harm. We want to bring it back to the way it was originally. And that's, we'll deal with that in a little while too. We really we like to summarize it by saying we want to nourish our bodies and nourish our souls and nurture our bodies. We also want to raise, and there's another person I know from the farmer's market. Hi there. We want to raise awareness of the health issues surrounding food in general and beef in specific. And we want to let people know where we are, how we do it, and want to invite them to come to the land, to the farm, to see how we do it. That's important to us. It's an open invitation. And yes, there's that income dimension to it. We do want to do something to supplement our income. We retired and we thought we would have enough in retirement so that we could live.
Oh, we never thought that.
I was hoping we could, but when the market crashed in 2008 and everything went through, then this became a real necessity.
But I think more important, or as important for me at least, was a concern that we're losing family farms. And because farmers are having to depend on going through the livestock market, for example, and selling their beef at whatever the big boys are willing to pay and losing all of the income to the middlemen. So if we could find a way to help farmers avoid going through middlemen, that felt like a way to spend one's irreplaceable lifetime.
Yep, agreed. When we started the farm, I also became involved in what was then the Loudon Cattlemen's Association. It's now the Blue Ridge Cattlemen's Association. I was on the board of directors and was on the committee. I chaired the committee that was the direct marketing committee. And I encouraged my colleagues to get into the direct marketing of beef to the consumer.
And they all did.
And many of them did, which caused, I thought, and I still do believe, that the more of us there are, the better it is for everyone. I also hope that there would be more farmers market to accommodate, more farmers markets to accommodate the increasing number of vendors. That hasn't happened. In fact, there are now 2 farmers markets in Purcellville, which is a small community, and neither farmers market is really thriving. So that's a problem, but that's why we wanted, and one of these farmers whom I encouraged to do this has told me since then, his name is also Chris, he said, Chris, had we not gone this route, we would have probably lost our farm by now. So it is important. And when we bought the farm in 2001, it was one of the few farm transactions where a farm actually stayed a farm instead of becoming a development. So farmland is important to us. In fact, I'm on the Jefferson Farmland Protection Board, and we now have we now have 2,000 acres in Jefferson County under conservation easements, which is in perpetuity. They will never be developed. And we're working towards doing more of those because that's important. We want to keep Jefferson County green. Moving right along. Just a quick word about our
dancing cows.
The dancing cows, the logo and the website. Both the logo and the website were designed by a Shepherdstown artist. Some of you may know Nan Broadhurst. She did the logo, she did our website. Before she was an artist, she was with IBM and learned enough about computers to do a website.
I don't know how to do that part, but I'm going to help you move along. We hope to only spend about 20 minutes talking so that there's plenty of time for eating and for questions.
Right. We want to, as part of the introduction, show you some of our herd. Every animal we sell has been raised on our farm. In fact, some of the mamas, but not all, were raised on our farm. So we know what's in the animals, we know what they've eaten, we know where they've been, and we know what they haven't eaten. And that's important. What you see there is a 1-year-old, a yearling, and a little newborn one. And they were kind enough to pose for me that morning. It was very recent. Some of our land, as you've driven by it, I'm sure. This picture was taken in the late summer at the time of drought. But the field is green, even though it's very, very cropped short because the animals were eating it. A farmer friend of mine came by and says, Chris, how come your fields are still green? Ours aren't. It's because we manage them intensively. We rotate our animals across different paddocks in the fields, paddocks that we can wind it up and bring it back in, so that we move them from section to section. They don't want to eat everything that's out there. They want to eat what's good. And if you let them do that, what's bad thrives and takes over. And so you've got to make them eat what's there before you let them move to the next pasture.
The other thing, though, that management does is it distributes the manure, which means we're not on the tractor in the winter doing the distributing, because if you leave them on a big pasture, they will do all of their manuring right at the feed, at the watering hole, and then you've got to go and move it on to the fields. And there's something wrong with that picture.
Right. What doesn't show up on the slide because of the arrangement here is that we use nothing artificial on those fields in the way of herbicides or fertilizers. Here it is.
No pesticides, no herbicides.
Yeah, no chemicals. In fact, you'll see in a moment that we have two kinds of beef, the grass-finished and corn-finished. Our grass-finished beef is certifiably organic, although we're not going to go to the cost of certifying it to be organic. That would just raise prices. All right. It's in addition to these practices, it's our own labor. We have multiflora rows just like everybody else, and thistles and other weeds. It's personal attention and effort that gets rid of those. The old spade, dig them up, haul them away. Evie has been out there, and people have come to me and said, you know, she's out there cutting down these cedar trees. They'll come right back. They have them.
I get right down to the root and then some.